Hey guys, it's Aaron, the home for Mobile Reviews 8.ca, and today we are going to do a review of the Speck MightyShell with faceplate for the iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus. This is one of Speck's tougher cases, and it's definitely better than the Speck Candyshell, but it's not as mighty as they would lead us to believe, in my opinion anyways. The best thing about the case is the actual faceplate itself. This is one of the best screen protectors that we have ever used on an iPhone. The entire setup with the MightyShell and faceplate is fairly slim, and it does feel very, very solid, and for the most part will protect your iPhone from daily drops and scuffs and whatnot. Now, based on our time with the case, we gave it a score of 4.2 A's out of 5, but this comes with a massive caveat. At this score, at 4.2, this slimmer tough case is one of our higher rated cases, beating out Speck's own Candyshell. It's comparable with the Incipio DualPro and Urban Armor gear, as well as the Speck Candyshell grip. If you'd rather read the rest of this review, check out our blog on our website. If you're trying to figure out which slim case to get, check out our comparison tool. And before this video up, I am going to tell you which Speck case I like the most between the Candyshell grip, as well as the Speck MightyShell. Real usage, real reviews. Mobile Reviews 8.ca. So at Mobile Reviews 8.ca, we're really anti-unboxing review videos because in the 13 seconds between you unboxing and installing it, do you have a really good sense of what the case is going to be like? With these case reviews, we actually put our own iPhones into them and then we do awful things in them. The Speck Candyshell test had an iPhone 6 in it, which resulted in a smashed screen, which was not cool. And the iPhone 6 Plus in this MightyShell, well, didn't quite fare as well either. Part of the caveat that we mentioned at the beginning of the video is that we've rated this as a slim case rather than a tough case, despite it being mighty. We feel that this case won't hold up as well as, actual tough cases like the Amzer Cruster or the Griffin Survivor All-Terrain, or even up to the Thule Atmos X3. We do feel that this case, after what we've seen, In terms of design, the Speck MightyShell is decently sized. It's not as thin as other tough cases such as the Atmos X3, and will add a bit of bulk to your iPhone. With that being said, it does feel incredibly well built. It feels really solid, and we're impressed with the back of the case. It has a nice matte look, which doesn't attract scratches like the back of the regular Candyshell. In terms of protection, despite being marketed as a tough case with fancy words like 2x military-grade protective design and 360-degree protection, we feel that this case doesn't provide any more protection than, other slim cases like the Survivor Slim by Griver or the Incipio DualPro. Now, if you've seen our videos, you'll know that we're not big fans of marketing fluff. And if you go to the Speck website, it's just filled with fluff. And it's so difficult not to make fun of the fluff because the fluff is just so fluffy. Now, for example, you look at the Speck MightyShell faceplate website, you see the thing that has 2x military protection. You're like, wow, 2x military protection. That must be pretty incredible. But then you go and try to click on the 2x military protection, and the only thing that's going to give you is carpal tunnel syndrome because there's actually no link behind there. Actually, there's no link to any sort of 2x military drop protection on any part of the website. And that really is the caveat because 2x military drop protection. We've been reviewing cases for a while. We know that the average case can be dropped from about a height of 4 feet. That is military drop tested. So 2x, is that 8? So we don't know. They don't tell us. So we dropped it from 6, and our iPhone 6 Plus came apart inside the case. Facepalm! Do you really want me to get started on the 360-degree protection? Well, I won't right now. But if you watch to the end of the video, I'll have it in the outtakes. Now, with all that aside, and it does sound like I'm really ragging on them, but their marketing fluff is pretty fluffy. You have to admit that. But the screen protector is awesome, but part of the marketing fluff, it's 2x shatterproof. They got 4 layers. The only way we could test your shatter protection is just to drop it at the same height that would have broken a naked iPhone 6 Plus screen at 18 inches. It did fine. I'm so very impressed with the screen protector because the viewability and the touchability is it's off the charts. Like, I have not found a plastic screen protector or even a glass one that kind of offers the amount of protection, the amount of clarity, without really having to give something up. When something is tougher, usually stuff suffers, but not with this faceplate. Now, the faceplate for the 6 Plus version is a little different than the faceplate for the 6 version, and if you're looking, the 6 Plus version is way better than the 6. I'll elaborate in a bit. The screen protector is sticky, which means you have to, stick it onto your iPhone, which means there are no gaps between your finger and the screen protector, so screen sensitivity is maintained. The notch at the bottom above the Touch ID allows you to easily access your swipe menus. Because the screen protector is sticky, you're not going to have dusting problems where dust collects around the Touch ID sensor like on the OtterBox Defender. In terms of viewability, this is one of the best screen protectors that we've used. The clarity of your iPhone's HD screen is maintained maintain, and from what we can tell, there's almost no additional glare or reflections. I really do hope that Specks goes and licenses the screen protector technology out, because it's really just that good. The first case manufacturer that they should approach is LifeProof and tell them, hey, your free sucks, we've got this awesome screen protector, we can give it to you so that people are happy when they spend $80. In terms of actually getting to your iPhone, access to the buttons is fairly easy. You have a small cutout for the mute switch, and you're able to use slightly larger than average cables. The back of the case is incredibly slick. There's not a lot of texture to hold on. The edges of the case are very rubbery, so if you've got big enough hands, this would be an okay iPhone case, but it's not quite as grippy as, the Candyshell grip. We do have to note that one of the things we noticed was that the faceplate almost extends a little too far past the iPhone case, so when you're putting it face down like this, the phone is still going to slide around easily, unlike if you didn't have the faceplate, these rubber edges would keep your iPhone on the table. That's all I got for the Speck MightyShell. Gave it a score of 4.2 A's out of 5 with a big caveat because, well, it's not as mighty, so don't think you can drop it from 8 feet because you can't. I would just drop it from chest height at most. It is a little pricier at $60, so if you're thinking about getting something that actually does protect your iPhone, spend an extra $20, $30 and get like a Catalyst or a LifeProof Nude. Now, between the MightyShell, Candyshell grip, and the regular Candyshell, my hat tip goes to the grip. I love the back of the grip. This thing is literally so very, very grippy. And so with the iPhone, especially with the iPhone 6 Plus, such a big device, being able to one-hand it is really easy with the grip. It's not too bad with the MightyShell, but because it is just a tad bigger and the back is incredibly slick, there's no texture, it doesn't feel as solid in your hand. And the Candyshell, well, it's just completely slick. And the only downside about the grip is that it does have the same glossy back as your Candyshell, so scratches will be a little more apparent, but because of the grip portion, it doesn't scratch as easily. And yes, the faceplates are interchangeable. I can take this iPhone 6 Plus with the faceplate on it and put it onto my Speck Candyshell grip. Soon they're going to come up with this version of the product and call it completely new. Kind of sorry that I'm ragging on Speck, but it's just, I don't know. You make it so easy. Anyways, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. I'm Aaron the Ho. I am a reviewer at mobilereviews8.ca. Find us on Google+, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm on Periscope, which is kind of fun. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. My microphone. Now with the 360-degree protection, you would think that the entire thing is protected. But is it? No. Camera, front camera is exposed, back camera is exposed, Touch ID is exposed. What else looks exposed? Everything at the bottom of the iPhone is fully exposed. There's nothing to protect it from dirt, from dust. That's not 360-degree protection. That's like 351-degree protection. But I guess that doesn't sound as good on marketing fluff because you got to have the 360 degrees, not 300. 351 seems, oh, we didn't do everything. We didn't protect everything, but you didn't. Marketing to me is a really wonderful thing if it's done right, but when you have these companies that just go out of their way to make their things just seem so ridiculous, and then if people just don't take the time to figure out how ridiculous it actually is, well, they're winning because, I don't know, you're still giving them money for stuff that actually doesn't happen. Your iPhone is not going to go through concrete.